The Olympics has a long history with many different venues and thousands of athletes. The first Olympics was held in Athens, Greece in the year 776 BC. These games were held at Olympia and were said to be held to honor Zeus. They continued for 12 centuries until the practice of honoring pagan gods was stopped. In 1776, Englishman Richard Chandler discovered the site of ancient Olympia, allowing us to see how this area looked during the Olympics in ancient Greece. In 1896, the first modern Olympic Games began in Athens, Greece. The awards differed from what we see today. All participants received a medal to commemorate their participation. The first place winner received a crown made up from olive branches, silver medal, and certificate, while the second place winner received a laurel crown, bronze medal, and second place certificate. In 1900, there was no stadium for the Games. There were more than 1,000 participants, and there were athletes from 19 countries. These Games were held in Paris, France. The Games were disorganized, and many felt they did not even compete at the Olympics. However, this was the first Olympics that women competed in. These 19 women competed in croquet, golf, and tennis. The scene of the Olympics moves to the U.S. soil in 1904 in St. Louis, Missouri. This is where the awards we associate with the Olympics today were first utilized. The gold medal was presented to the athlete getting the coveted first place slot. Those coming in second were presented with silver medal, while the third place winner received a bronze medal. In 1908, London beat out Rome for the site of the Olympics, and they had a special stadium built where the Olympic Games would be held. There were representation from more than 22 nations. Australasia was one of these nations, which was the team of Australia and New Zealand combined. Figure skating started in this Olympics. Because there was much controversy and arguments regarding winners, the Olympic Committee recommended a judging panel from nations that were competing and a set of rules that would be followed. The Olympic Games were held in Sweden in 1912. The 5 major continents participated in these events, and new sports were introduced, known as the pentathlon and decathlon. These games were the first to use timing devices that were electric and a public speaker system. 1914 brings about the famous Olympic rings. These rings were created by Pierre and were 5 rings that interlocked. The Olympics were to be held in 1916 in Berlin. However, with the fighting in World War I, these games were canceled. Belgium hosted the 1920 Olympics. For the very first time, the Olympic flag was used. The white flag proudly displayed the Olympic rings. Peace was symbolized by the release of white doves for the very first time. However, because Germany, Austria, Hungary, Bulgaria, and Turkey lost World War I, they could not participate in these games. The first Winter Olympics took place in 1924 in France and included events in ski jump, speed skating, and ice hockey, to name a few. The Summer Olympics in 1924 take place once again in Paris, France. 1929 moves the Summer Games to the Netherlands, where the Olympic flame was first lit. It would burn until the completion of the Games. These Olympic Games started the tradition where Greece would lead the Olympians at the opening ceremony, and the host country would bring up the rear. The third Winter Olympics was held in 1932 in the U.S. This was the first time the Winter Olympics took place on American soil. The event was held in Lake Placid. World War II caused 1940 and 1944 Olympics to be canceled. During the 1980 Olympics that took place at Moscow in Soviet Union, 61 nations decided to not compete. This was done to protest the invasion of Afghanistan by the Russians. 1996 brings the Summer Olympics to Atlanta. These Olympics were seen on TV because the rights were sold so that this could be done. There were sponsors for the Games, and Coca-Cola Company was one of the major ones. The year is 1998, and the Winter Olympics take place in Japan. Women played ice hockey at these games for the first time in Olympic history. In 2004, the Summer Games returned to its original home in Athens, Greece. Security had to be greatly increased due to the 9/11 terrorist attacks on the United States. Athens completes the facilities at last minute to host these games. 2008, Beijing, China's Summer Olympics is a record-setting event. World records were broken 43 times, along with Olympic records being broken 132 times. Michael Phelps, an American swimmer, takes the title of most medals won by any one individual at one Olympics. He takes home 8 gold medals. The Olympics have a long history and many stories behind each one. These are just a few of the highlights.